Hello, it's Vegetalia here and welcome to another video. Before I get started, please do not hesitate to like, share, comment on this video, and most helpful of all, if you could subscribe and keep updated on my content. So best way for that is to subscribe and hit the little bell icon that will keep you notified as soon as I post. Now, on to today's video. I would really like to explore a topic that I feel needs to be addressed in the vegan society in general, but also just, in society, not even restricting that to the vegan world. By that, I mean talking about raising children vegan. I know it's something that I definitely had a problem with when I wasn't vegan, and I realized that not so much in day-to-day life, because maybe people don't really want to be confrontational about it, but definitely when I read online I see that it's a real concern for people. And so I would just like to address why I'm raising my child vegan. And before I get into the hows and whys of our personal experience, I would like to just talk about parenting in general. So when we parent, sorry, I'll just take a step back. People say that when we raise a child vegan, we're forcing our veganism upon the child. The child didn't ask for anything, is being forced into veganism, is being forced into this way of life, which, essentially, sorry, I'm always a bit uncomfortable, and also you could just see half of my face. Anyway, so they always talk about how, children are forced into this, and it's pushed upon them, and we're forcing our morals upon our children, forcing our lifestyle upon our children. And I would like to take a step back and think, what is parenting most of the time? Most of the time, parenting is bringing children into the world and raising them, and hopefully with love and everything they need in that regard. But we bring them into our lives, meaning that most of the time we subject them to our beliefs, our system, our way of eating, of interacting, of all of these things. So by definition, parenting is most of the time forcing something upon the child, because say you have a child and you're a non-vegan family, you're an omnivorous family, and you bring your child into the world, you're also forcing your omnivorous diet upon your child. It could be looked upon in that way. And so I really feel that this, we're forcing veganism upon children, is implying that the vegan diet or the vegan lifestyle or the vegan way of life is less than the omnivorous, let's say, way of life. It's implying you're forcing it upon your children, but the reason why it's a problem that we're forcing it upon our children is because it's a risk, or it's a problem, or veganism will lead to issues further down the line, or we're depriving them of something, or there's this negative connotation. But I just want to put this into perspective and say, well, that's what parenting is. We bring them into our lives and we love them and teach them life the best way we know how. And if that is being vegan, that's just one of the many facets of different things we can bring to a child's life. And if you're doing this properly and not causing tons of deficiencies or whatever, which, by the way, thankfully, most vegan parents is case, then why is that forcing it upon a child, whereas an omnivorous diet would just be a regular thing? And so I just want to put it into perspective that I don't feel that I'm forcing my vegan lifestyle upon my child. any more than, say, if I were Christian, I would be forcing Christianity upon my child. I am bringing my child up vegan for the time being, so at this point they are fully vegan, never consumed any animal products of any sort. But should they change their mind later on, that's their decision. Just as if I was Christian, I would bring my child into my family, show them the Christian ways, and yada, yada, yada. And then later on, when they are old enough, they can make the decision to say, look, Mum, this isn't my thing. For me, it's exactly the same. Not to say I wouldn't be a little bit like, a little bit disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed in the child, but disappointed in, like, oh, I would have liked you to, be on this journey with us, but it's the same for everything. I don't see how veganism is any different. You bring them into the world with everything, with the tools you know and you feel comfortable best and feel comfortable with. And then the child later on, it's my rabbit again. Sorry, if I'm looking down, it's because my rabbit's being like a total silly billy, like really just running around. Anyway, he's cute. And so I don't see how it's any different to any other facet of one's life when we bring a child into this world. So that's just 6 minutes of me saying the same thing over again. Bear with me. So now on to the actual core of this video, i.e. why we decided to bring our child up to be vegan. So maybe a little background story before we get into like really why. So first of all, we have a toddler that is going to be 19 months old soon, and I have been vegan for a little bit less than that. So I went vegan when they were 2.5 months old, I think. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty recent transition. I haven't been vegan for a decade, but so I went vegan then, and my husband is not fully vegan. He is vegan, like plant-based, and at home he accepts that we don't eat any animal products or buy any animal products, and that's fine with him. And he has, told me several times that he would like to make the full transition in time, but he's not as black or white in these situations as I am. I just decided to go vegan. I went vegan the next day, and that was it. Everybody's different, and that's not his style, I guess. And so my husband accepts fully that at home everything's plant-based. My child is 1.5-year-old. Sorry, my rabbit's doing some weird stuff. And so we hadn't discussed veganism before we had the child, since I wasn't vegan then, and it wasn't at all on the cards. It hadn't crossed my mind at that point. So it was a decision that was made gradually when I went vegan, and then, things progressed, and my child started to be at the age where you would introduce foods, and at every stage we were like, oh, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. So it was a gradual process. It wasn't a pre-decided process. And if I'm honest, at the very beginning, like the why my child is vegan in the sense of like how did it happen? It happened because I was still in my angry vegan phase, and then I would have it no other way. At the very beginning, because I was still very freshly vegan when we started to introduce solid foods into my child's diet. And at that time, at the beginning of most people, when they go vegan at the beginning, they're like, oh my God, like that they've had their eyes opened and they feel like, oh my goodness, everybody should be vegan, like no questions asked. And I went through a little bit of an angry vegan phase. And, it didn't last very long, but I'm very wholehearted about things. So it was very, like, no way, my child is not consuming a single animal product. Whereas now that I've kind of settled in to my veganism, like I can see that I prefer that my child be vegan, but I would be able to discuss it in a more like respectful way of other people's beliefs and opinions and also desires, because my husband has as much right to decide something for my child than I do. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and see what my rabbit is doing. 1 second. There we go. That's done. It was just being silly. Anyway, so I mean, essentially, as to why my child is vegan, that's how it happened. It wasn't premeditated. It was kind of spur of the moment and probably not guided by the best, I guess not what I would like to be saying, but it's just the truth. And this channel is really all about, just real life. I'm not here to embellish things or to make them seem more romanticized than they are. This is just the truth. I made my child vegan because I was just really angry at the world and I could see no other way. Basically, that's how it went. However, things have, since changed, and since then I've really, my angry vegan phase really didn't last very long. Like, if anything, it lasted like 3 months, so it wasn't very long, but I was really just like, oh my god, mind blown, so mind blown by veganism and by what I felt like I'd been cheated and that everybody should see what I had seen, basically, that it was quite intense. And from then on, as I said, we decided step by step, what should we be introducing meat, should we be doing this, should we be doing that, and at every step we decided to go down the vegan route instead of choosing to introduce animal products. And this is the part of the story that I feel a little bit prouder of, because of the why veganism was like introduced into my child's life isn't really a glamorous one, but why we decided that they should stay vegan, I know, it's something I feel more comfortable with. At every step we had the opportunity to say, either we take the vegan route or we stop here. And at every single step so far we've decided to stay vegan, stay in a vegan parenting way of life. And why that is for several reasons. I've talked about in my Why I'm Still Vegan video. Check that out if you haven't already. But I really struggle when parents say something, tell their child to do something, or that something is right, or that, all of that, whilst not at all respecting that in their actions day to day. And I think it's extremely important as a parent to make your actions match your words. And I think it's important for anyone, but I do especially think that for parents it's really essential, because otherwise, why would they listen to you? Why on earth would your child listen to you if they can see you doing the exact opposite of what you say? And since animals and animal welfare and everything is so important in my life, you may or may not know, but I am a veterinarian. Animals are everything to me, and they have been everything to me forever. So it's not that animals are a small part of my life or of our family life. Animals are a huge part of our life. And so my child will be confronted to the message about animals all the time. Whether I would be vegan or not, it wouldn't change anything. My child will be confronted to animals and the way we interact with them and all of that anyway. And so I think it's extremely important for us as a family to match our actions to our words, so that at least there's no confusing messaging going on in that area. And we try to do that in all areas of our life, but of course that is the one that is of interest in this video. That's the first reason why my child is vegan. A second reason why my child is vegan is because I have read extensively about everything to do with health, and I do believe that a vegan diet, or at least a diet that is not very animal product heavy, is the healthiest kind of diet. So I don't think it has to be, so I'm maybe going to be controversial here, but I don't think that a diet has to be perfectly vegan to be extremely optimal for health. The reason why we have not introduced any animal products, it's for the ethics point of view. It's for the animals. But I do believe that you can have a rather healthy diet with a little bit of animal products, like a bit of a flexitarian approach with a little bit of animal products trickled here and there. But I also believe you can be just as healthy just being vegan. And the reason why we have chosen the vegan route of things rather than the few products here and there thing is because of the ethics. But definitely something that I think we all need to be more plant-based in our society today because of health reasons. So one of the reasons why my child is vegan is because I do think it is a good thing for optimal health. As a side note, because it's not a mainstream thing to be doing, especially here in Belgium, it's not a mainstream thing at all to be bringing your child up vegan. We do want to have medical follow-up just to be sure that we're doing everything right. And so the pediatrician we have, so she is a great pediatrician. She is extremely understanding, extremely open, and she follows her from just a holistic point of view, and then on demand we get blood tests done to check that everything is okay. And so far there's no reason to be concerned. We could also get the B12 status done via a more precise urine test and so on. But for as long as there's no real concern, or everything is, the development is fine, which it is, our pediatrician is pretty laid back about it, as long as she can see that our kid is following her growth curves, the pediatrician has these growth curves, and they have to the children have to follow the growth curves that she has in the little booklet thing. So as long as she can see that the child follows the growth curve that she has predefined according to how the child's grown, it's all fine. So yeah, there's that, and then upon demand, or if she has a specific concern about the child, we will conduct any analysis that's necessary. But till this point, our child hasn't needed much, hasn't needed anything. We just decided at one point to kind of just have an idea to get a blood test done, which was perfectly fine. Everything was fine, which was nice and reassuring. Another reason why our child is vegan is because, so people always say that you're setting your child up to be different, and it's a bad thing. And to me, difference is strength, and I'm also very happy that we are bringing our child up to be different in a way that's pretty blatant, and teaching our child to be tolerant towards others, and hopefully kind of teaching others to be tolerant towards us. Just by, if you don't bring any difference into the world, if you make everybody the same, nobody's going to be tolerant of difference. You see what I mean? And so I'm very, very thankful for veganism for giving us an opportunity to teach our child to be tolerant towards others, but also to teach the other children around that difference is fine. And personally, I was brought up very differently. No, not brought up very differently, but I was always the odd one out. I lived in foreign countries. I was always the oddball. And although it wasn't always like a smooth ride. I define myself in many ways, and definitely, sorry, my rabbit is running around like a crazy guy. I definitely have acquired much of my personality because I was always different. And I don't want my child to be like bullied or anything. Like, I wouldn't want to expose them to that, like, consciously. But I don't think that you should make your child exactly the same as everybody else, because A, that's impossible, and B, I don't think that's a good life lesson for anyone, neither the child nor, no, I just don't think it's a good life lesson. And so I think I've talked about the main reasons why my child is vegan. Really, this educational message, the health, and the fact that I really think difference is a beautiful thing. I'm trying to just, as per usual, my video is always on the spot. If you want to know why that is, by the way, if you want to know why I don't go into more fancy editing, you can watch the video about my welcome video for this channel, where I go into why I will not be editing any of these videos. Editing or premeditating on any of these videos. I think that most of the reasons of why my child is vegan, really, is really health, education. Obviously, I think this doesn't even need to be mentioned, but to teach my child respect for animals. And as a consequence, to teach my child compassion and respect for any living being. So any cause, any minority that's being quashed in any way. I think veganism is an extremely powerful message for injustices all over in any area. And we're not just standing up for the animals, we're standing up for a fairer and more compassionate world. And that's also why we're bringing our child up to be vegan, is because I can only speak for myself, but we do believe as a family unit in a better world, and that veganism can open your eyes and condition you to see things from a more compassionate point of view, as opposed to the common way of seeing things. I might do a part 2 to this, because right now nothing extra is coming to mind. But I think for the moment this is a good, the video is hella long anyway. This concludes my why we are raising our child vegan video for today. And with that, I invite you to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more content. I will definitely be investigating the vegan side of things more. Like, I realized that I've started this channel very recently. I said I might do some vegan content, and I realized that I really love it, and so I will definitely be making a lot more vegan content. So stay tuned for that. Have a lovely day. See ya. I was going to say see you later, alligator, but that is just, no. That is, no way. So, see you later, have a lovely day, and see you very soon. Bye, guys.